Okay, great. Let's get started. So, we want to focus more on when you're planning to go abroad, what role does profile building play, and how do we go about building our profile? Okay, we'll focus predominantly on that. We continuously keep on doing webinars on various topics. So we'll focus on the other stuff during those respective webinars. We have webinars coming up on country planning, career planning eventually. So we can discuss those nitty gritties at that time. Let's focus on profile building for today. Okay, this will be put up on YouTube as well in the next 2-3 days. Okay. Just as a background, if I look at the last 3 years, we have sent a lot of students to the top universities in USA and other countries outside USA as well. The 2022 scorecard will be published by the end of this month, and that will also get updated. So the numbers speak volumes for itself that yes, it's not just good CGPA and good GRE that will get you into a top school. There are many other factors as well. And let's see what can be done to enhance our profile. Okay. Now, when you decide you want to go abroad and before you start building your profile, first step is figuring out what is the right career for you and what is the right course that you need to choose. Only after the course is finalized can you focus on profile building. Okay. And when you want to focus on the right career, you want to evaluate two things. One, what are you as a person? And two, what are the external parameters in the world with respect to the industry trends, the salaries, the jobs, and where is the money and what is the return on investment depending on how much money I'm going to put in. Okay, so you need to first analyze and find the right career for you, and that is only after that is done, you focus on profile building. How do you go about choosing a career is not something we'll be talking about today, but yes, we will be having a lot of career webinars on, it could be different topics like management, finance, analytics, computer science, data science in the month of June, July. So at that time, we will cover all those topics in detail. In case you are not sure what is the right career path for you, please talk to our counselors separately, set up a call with us, and we will work with you in helping you choose the right career path. Okay. So having said that, how do I start with respect to the going abroad process? Okay. Once you figure out, hey, I want to go abroad, there are a couple of things that need to be done. One is the exams that you need to give, the GRE, GMAT, TOEFL, IELTS, the profile building part that we are going to focus more on. And then comes the main different blocks of the application process. Okay. Now, when you talk of the exams, the GRE or GMAT, a lot of people in 2021 and 2022, when they applied for these 2 years, GRE, GMAT exams were waived off for about 40 to 60% of the universities. But keep in mind that for 2023, that might not be the case. A lot of them do need the exam. And one major reason for that is in the pandemic, everyone was getting 10 out of 10 in the online exams. So there has been a huge paradigm shift in the way students are getting marks. Everyone is getting 10 out of 10. And if the university or the admission committee is looking at the student profile, if everyone is 9+ out of 10, then the GRE will actually become a more important parameter, because that is how the university will use it to differentiate the boys from the men, right? So that is one of the another reasons I think that these exams are going to play a very important role this year. Okay, and the exams are valid for 5 years. So in case you are still a student and you want to go abroad even after 2-3 years, it's still okay to give the exam right now because the score is valid for 5 years. Okay, so I say that GRE, GMAT is the start of your profile building process, because hey, you decided you want to go abroad. I would say the first thing you do is get done with the exams, because they do have, many universities have a cutoff, right? So if you do not meet their cutoff requirements, no matter how good your profile is, the university computer is going to filter you out, right? So you cannot focus on your profile building at the cost of your GRE, GMAT, because if the university has a requirement, yes, you need to meet that requirement to be eligible to be selected by the admission committee. So please don't take these exams for granted. The next part is the TOEFL or the IELTS exam, which is a comparatively just an English speaking exam, just English gauging exam rather, to see whether you are capable to talk in English and to survive in an English speaking country environment. These exams usually take about 50 to 60 hours of preparation. So I think this is something you give about 16 to 18 months before you want to go abroad. So you want to go abroad in, let's say, August 2023, this would be the best time to give the TOEFL or the IELTS exam. The more you delay, what happens is, the getting the exam dates become difficult, number one. And number two, the exam centers are too crowded and too chaotic. So, people always complain that, I think I messed up because there was too much noise around me. So you want to give the exams as early as you can. One last thing I talk about the exams before I move on is last year, a lot of universities allowed the exam from home. But going forward, many universities have explicitly said that we want the exams to be given in the center only. TOEFL from home, GRE from home will not be accepted. So you will need to go to the center and give the exams. Okay. Let's go and focus more on profile building, what needs to be done, how do we do this? And then I'll quickly talk about the building blocks of the application process. Okay. Are you guys with me so far? Can I start with the profile building part? Are you guys with me? Am I audible? Okay. Now, how do you build your profile? Now, understand the admission committee looks at two things, right? First are the quantitative aspects, that is your academic score, your GRE, GMAT score, your TOEFL, IELTS score. Okay, which things that can be quantified. The other aspects are the qualitative aspects like your resume, your portfolio, your letters of recommendation, and your statement of purpose, right? Now, these are the documents where you are going to sell yourself. Hey, I have worked for 5 years, I have paper publications, I have done this, I have won a gold medal at the national level. Everything that you might have built as a profile will boil down on how you put it in your statement of purpose, resume, and letters of recommendation. Okay, now to have a solid documentation, you definitely want to work on your profile. Okay, you don't want to be in a situation where your quantitative aspects are great, but there are no projects, nothing to be written in your SOP and resume. Then the marks alone are not going to get you into the top university. Okay, so how do you start building profile, right? So if you are a student, you can do internships between your summer vacations. Maybe you can do a part-time internship along with your college. If you have graduated, take up a full-time job. Any job relevant to your field of study would be, more something that we are looking out for. So for example, you want to do masters in finance, but you're doing a marketing internship. We might not be able to write a lot of that in your documentation. You want your internship work experience to be relevant to the field of study. Now, we look at the superset. So even if I look at finance, there could be accounting, there could be taxation, global finance, quant finance, etc. So you want to do global finance, but your internship is in accounting, it is still fine because I can correlate it to the superset that is finance. Okay, so it has to be at least relevant to the superset, right? You want to do engineering, but your internship is in law, I will not be able to correlate. Okay, So, you want to do something that's relevant to the field you want to go into. If you are going for a technical field, then you want to publish papers. If you are going for PhD, I would say it's a must that you should publish papers if you want to apply for a PhD. If you are going for a management related program, then technical papers are not compulsory. Okay. But again, then it also depends on what the topic of the technical paper is, and can you correlate it to the field that you want to go into. Again, doing online courses, certifications, you can even do independent projects. All those things help out, right? So you want to go into mechanical engineering and you take part in an inter-college robotics competition. That's completely fine. I mean, I can correlate to that. I've been building my skills even outside the four walls of the classroom and taking part in all these competitions. And I won awards and, building a robot, I've done this, etc. So this is how I can still sell you in your SOP and resume. So, definitely your co-curriculars are something that will help you out. The last part we focus on are your extracurricular activities, your sports, social service, etc. Now, when you look at MBA applications or you look at undergraduate or bachelor's applications, social service and sports play a very important role. But when you talk about master's programs, they are not as important as maybe points number 1, 2, and 3. Okay. So keep in mind, I've written down 1, 2, 3, 4 because that is the order of priority. 1 will have a higher weightage than 2, 2 has a higher weightage than 3, and 3 has a higher weightage than 4. Okay. So if you say that I'm going to be the captain of the football team at the cost of publishing a paper or at the cost of an internship, then to give you an analogy, you are telling me you want to focus on the pickle when the main course is not ready. Okay. Keep in mind that when you go out to eat a thali, okay, the pickles, the papads, okay, the buttermilk, everyone, the thali looked filled up. Hey, you know what? This is all filled up, the decoration, everything. But at the end of the day, it is the main course and the dessert that is all that matters, right? If the main course and dessert is solid, no one even cares if there is a pickle or not. Okay. So yes, your profile building and everything will make you sell yourself as an overall well-rounded personality, but you cannot be focusing on the pickle when the main course is not good, right? If you tell me that I have got 4 years of experience, but my academic score is 5 out of 10, then yes, that can still be a problem because, you cannot take your academics for granted. They cannot be bad. At least I need it to be average or above average, or your GRE GMAT score. Like I said, some universities have a cutoff. Hey, I need a 312 is my cutoff. You cannot apply with a 290, 300 if the university expects a 312. Okay. So keep in mind that the quantitative things are there to filter out students. You want to apply to a Stanford or a Harvard, they might put a filter of 310, 315 GRE score. And once you clear that filter and the threshold, then yes, they will look at everything and then your profile will help you. So to give you an example, let's say there is a student who's 8.1 out of 10 and 320 out of 340 GRE. There is another student who is 9 out of 10 and 340 out of 340. Now again, yes, his academics are better and his GRE is better. Okay. However, the 8 guy and the 320 guy has got work experience, paper publications, internships, everything in place. Now, if the university says my threshold is 8, I will not take people who are below 8 out of 10. Okay. Both these people have cleared the threshold and are going to be reviewed. Their applications are going to be reviewed by the admission committee. Now it is still possible that the person who's 8 and 320 can get an admit, and the person who's 9 plus and 340 might not get an admit because the other person was an overall strong profile. right? So like I said, your academics and marks can just help you clear the filter. But after that, it's not that, hey, you are a 340 means you will get an admit. Maybe the person with a lower profile can still get in, provided the other pieces are checked in the application process. Okay, so profile building is important and you don't want to take it for granted. You want to give it at least 3 to 6 months. Now let's take a case study. Okay, how do you build a profile? Again, it varies from student to student, the course you are applying and where you are today. So I'm taking an example. You are a chemical engineer and you want to do masters in journalism. Okay. If you just apply, hey, I've not done anything in my engineering years, maybe your resume will not have a lot of talking points. So how do we build the resume? And there is an order is equally important, right? So let's say I first do some online courses and certifications. I go online, Coursera.com, Udemy.com, Upgrade.com. There are too many MOOCs online today. Do some courses and certifications, get myself, get my hands dirty. Maybe I can publish a technical paper in chemical engineering field. At least now I can say I've published a paper. I have some writing skills. Okay. Maybe you take part, become the editor of your college magazine. If you cannot become the editor of your college magazine, maybe write articles for your college magazine. Okay. If your college does not have a magazine, you start a magazine in your college. You start a newsletter in your college. Okay. You start writing blogs. Okay. Ask your friends to like it and share it. Make sure that there is traction and a lot of comments and all happening on your blogs. Now I have some talking points in the resume. I will put all these things in my resume and then I'll start applying for internships. Let's say I'm applying to Times of India for a role in the editorial position, whatever it could be. Now understand, if I'd applied for an internship without doing all these things, there is no paper box, no editor of the magazine, no courses, certifications, I might not get selected for the internship in the first place. So to even get selected for the internship, my resume should have some talking points. So we did this A, B, C, D things to have something concrete to put on the resume. Now I have some talking points on the resume. Now I will apply for internship, because now the probability of me getting an interview call would be much more, because I will have something to talk about even when I'm interviewed. Hey, why do you want to have a career in journalism? You're a chemical engineer. You can say that during your engineering years, I was writing for magazines, I was blogging, I've been doing continuously online courses on topics related to architectural journalism, travel journalism, sports journalism, right? So you have some talking points in the interview and try to convert that interview call into an internship. Maybe take a letter of recommendation from that place when you are applying for a master's program. And now you have something strong to talk about when you are applying for masters in journalism. Okay. So profile building will definitely help you, and it needs to be a proper approach on doing it. Okay. The more time we get to work with you, the more time, hey, do this. Hey, you want to do marketing? Why don't you do this course by Google? You want to do finance, give the CFA exam. You want to do computer science? Why don't you take part in hackathons? Right? So we get time to work with you on your profile. So this is something that I would recommend you to give at least 3 to 6 months. If you are a student, maybe one semester of your college, you want to just focus only on profile building. Okay. So this was a simple case study. Like I said, it will again depend on student to student. Okay. It depends on where you are today. If you tell me that you want to go for the January 2023 intake and your deadlines are in June, July, I will tell you, you don't have time to build your profile. Your deadlines are in 1 month. Just go ahead and apply. Okay. Maybe you can, once your applications are done, you could do these things to make your resume strong, so that Once you are abroad, you have some talking points on your resume. But yes, depending on when the deadlines are, we may or may not get time for profile building. You want to go abroad next August? Yes, great. We have the next 2 months to focus on your profile building. In the month of August, September, I would want you to complete your applications by September. So usually what I've seen is July, August, September will go in your paperwork, documentation and application. So that leaves you May, June, July to only focus on your profile. Okay. And if you're not given your exams also, then we have a tough time. We'll have to really be good in multitasking to figure out how to focus on profile building along with the exams. The profile building also, like I said, it depends on not only the course you are choosing, but also the country you are targeting. Now, if you are targeting Germany as an example, then I would say you need to start learning the A1. You need to give the A1, A2, B1, B2 certification exams. At least A1 and A2 before you go abroad. Okay. So then you need to spend at least 6 months getting the A1 done and dusted with. Right. If you're going to Germany, your deadline for next year's intake, your deadlines would be in February. You're going to USA, you're going to Canada, Netherlands, your deadlines might be you want to apply by September, October. So if you're going to Germany, you get 4 or 5 extra months, right? So your timelines can vary again depending on the country that you are choosing. Okay, you're choosing Ireland, you don't need to give the GRE or the GMAT exam, or New Zealand for that matter. You're choosing USA, you might need to give the GRE GMAT exam. So that will again affect your timelines and when you need to give those exams. The next point is, when do you want to go abroad? Like I said, you want to go in January, you want to go in next September, August, September, or you want to go after 2 years. The more time we get to work with you, the more ideas we can brainstorm and help you build a profile. Okay. I'll give you an example. Okay. Of a student. I had an electrical engineer who wanted to apply for masters in finance. So he said, I want to do masters in finance. And we were discussing, hey, what all have you done related to finance? He said, I've not done anything at all. Okay. I just find it fascinating. So I want to do finance. And we were trying to talk to him. Hey, you got done nothing at all. There's nothing on your resume. You're going to make a 40-50 lakh rupee investment. Are you sure you want to do this? Do you want to do some online courses, certifications, get your hands dirty and then go for it? And he was like, no, I'm sure I want to do it. I have nothing on my resume. Now, what do I put on my resume? How do you help me sell yourself? And he joined us just 1-2 months before the deadlines. So there was practically nothing he had time to do. So then we are trying to brainstorm with him. Okay, what have you done related to finance? Nothing. Were you a treasurer of the college committee? Maybe I can try to correlate it to I was handling the finances of my college festival or something. He said, not done anything. Do you do any trading of stocks? Nothing at all. Okay. And then we were clueless. What do you write in the application process, right? Then we start brainstorming. What do your parents do? He said, my father has a cloth shop. He sells saris. So I said, okay, beautiful. Let's make up a story. Have you ever been to your father's office? Yes, I have been there. Just go there a couple of hours and I come back. Great. Let's make up a story that you are working as a cashier in your father's company. Okay. So you're working as a cashier in your father's company. Okay. Now, it's not a big deal, right? I mean, someone will give you money and you give them the cloth that they've purchased from the shop. Now, that's not a rocket science job. You don't even need an engineer to do that. But what is important is how you put it in your applications, right? The way we portrayed it was as follows. Okay. That I was working in the accounts department of my family business. I was involved in the daily revenue generation and target meeting of the company, right? Now, I am not lying. I'm just massaging it and selling it in a nice way. And I didn't have a choice. That was the only thing I could do because there was nothing else on the resume of that person. Now, imagine if he had come to us 1 year in advance We could have helped him do so many more things, and we could have put in so much more stuff in the SOP, LOR, resume, etc. Okay, so always biggest problem is people take it for granted, right? So don't let it go for a toss. The more time you give to it, the better it is for you. Okay. Here are some samples, course profiles of our students who got in 2022. This year, people going to the top universities abroad. Now, if you see with the GRE waiver this year, we do have people with not giving GRE going to top schools like UCLA, and even people with average GRE score still going to top universities, right? So having said that, you have a 8-pointer going to Yale, okay, or a 7.1310 going to an NYU. Okay, now this is just a summary, okay, to show that these profiles are not great, but they are still going to the top universities in 2022. Okay, so definitely you don't want to take things for granted. You want to spend at least 2 to 3 months on profile building. Okay, I hope this slide gives you an example of the importance of profile building. Now, having said that, a quick thing, a lot of people have been asking what country do I choose, because that's also important parameter in profile building. Okay, now when you choose a country, there are different parameters you look at, they are in front of you. Okay, now keep in mind the profile building is also dependent on country. So for example, if you're going to Switzerland or Singapore for a technical program, they recommend paper publications. Okay, if you are applying to Canada for a PhD, you will need to take a professor's approval even before you apply. You're going to Japan, you will need to give technical interviews and clear the university technical exams before you even apply. So the profile building will also vary on the country that you choose. Okay, you're choosing Germany, yes, you need to learn the language. You're going to Canada, keep in mind Canada is very academic or a CGPA centric country. So there the CGPA will beat your profile. So someone with a good CGPA, bad profile will get an admit over someone with bad CGPA and good profile, because as a country, Canada focuses more on CGPA. Okay, so you're going to Canada and your CGPA is bad, no matter how much of profile building you do, I would say that you would be unlucky. Your chances of getting in might be less. Okay, so the country wise also all these things matter and they play an important role. Okay, so these are the factors you take into account when you choose a country. Okay, you want to go to Canada for immigration, great, but keep in mind that you will be staying in minus 20 degrees. Are you comfortable with that? Okay, the Canada visa rejection rate for 2021 was about 50%. Okay, 50% people's Canada visa were rejected in 2021. Maybe start looking at what your backup options are, right? I always tell people, when don't put all the eggs in one basket. Again, when you're choosing the country, you want to start asking the right questions. Okay, hey, how much time do I have to get a job on graduation? How long can I stay and work on graduation? After how many years will I get a presidency? After how many years will I get a citizenship? What is the income tax rate of the country? Will I be able to save money, or I'll be spending 60% on income taxes in some countries in Scandinavia, right? So all these parameters are something that you want to start working in parallel. Finalize your course, finalize your country, and then you focus on the profile building part and your exams that you need to give. Okay, that's my take on it. Having said that, just a slide in case people are not sure how much is the expense going to be across countries. Okay, this gives you an approximation of about 80% of the students fall in this bracket, and the reason it is a range is because the fees vary from college to college. Now, if I look at UK, there are colleges where your tuition fees is only 13-14 lakh rupees, and there are colleges where your tuition fees is 30 lakh rupees. So if you add your living expense and everything, you get a range so that you understand where you stand. What we have also done in this screen is eliminated people with 0% scholarship and eliminated people with 100% scholarship. Okay. So those are the two extremes that we have eliminated, and we are looking at 80% of the people in the middle. If you are planning to go abroad after 1-2 years, maybe you want to add a buffer of 5 lakh rupees. What if the rupee goes down? What if the university increases their fees? So maybe you want to keep a buffer of 4-5 lakh rupees as the worst case scenario. Now, let's talk about the building blocks of the application process. So like I said, first step, and where does College Point also fit in parallel? We focus on your career planning. What is the right course for you? Right country for you. Then we go into profile building. Then we start working on your colleges once your exam scores are out. And maybe even in parallel on the basis of your profile, we start working on your documentation, statement of purpose, resumes, your mark sheets, your transcripts, additional essays that you need to work on. We will work with you in your application assistance. You're applying to colleges. You will also be applying for scholarships. It could be as a part of the application, or after you are applying, you might get an interview call. You will have to write essays. You will have to give interviews for the scholarship. We'll prepare you for it. There might be university interviews. We'll prepare you for it. Then comes once your admits are in place, then your visa processes will start. Visa documentation, visa interviews, visa essays. We'll work with you on that. Then comes your financial planning, bank statements, affidavits, notaries, income tax papers, your health insurance, travel insurance, loan process. So this is something that we work with the parents in parallel throughout the year, so that they don't have to run around at the last minute. We have a pre-departure where we prepare you on your life abroad, how to open a bank account, how to get your driving license, how to be successful there, how to apply for jobs, etc. And the last thing that we work with our students on is the post-landing services. Even after you go abroad, we will work with you till you get a job. You want to do a resume critique, mock interviews, we will work with you end to end. And how do we do all these things? We have a Converge portal. You can go online on App Store or Google Play Store and download it. A lot of features are paid features. There are some free features also. In case you want to read about the universities, read about career options, you can do that. But in case you want our services, you can always upgrade to the premium service. And a lot of events like this, that what a webinar we have today, we continuously will be having about 200 webinars throughout the year on various topics. Okay. And you could be a part of those. Just download the app and register for the events and attend all these webinars. Okay. I am done with the talking part. I want to now focus more on question answers that you might have. Again, having said that, I cannot generalize for everyone. I'm getting a lot of questions. Hey, is there time for fall 2023 for profile building? Right now, I don't know that, because one, I don't know, are your exams done? How much time do you have in your hands? See, I need you to tell me, hey, in the month of May, I have my college exams. I cannot give you time. But June, I am completely free. I can give you 3 hours a day. July, I have an internship. I can give you only weekends. So we need to understand where you are, what is there on the resume, what course have you chosen, how much time do you have in your hands, and then we can tell you, hey, you can do ABC, but I don't think you have time to do ABC. Maybe you just do A and B for now. Okay. So coming back to your questions, a lot of people have asked, is there enough time for fall 23? I would say yes, there definitely is. It depends on, are you ready to multitask? Are you ready to put your foot down and go in the fourth gear? And if you are not done with your college exams, your GRE exams, your TOEFL exams, are you ready to parallel process and do profile building along with all these exams? Then yes, we definitely have the time. But yes, keep in mind that you will be applying in the next 5 6 months, and you might never know how time flies, you know. So no matter what you do, you always wish I had started early. Okay, a lot of people wish I had given the GRE exam earlier, TOEFL exam earlier. What if you have a bad day, you screw up, you need to retake the exam? I always tell people to keep some buffer time. Okay, let's quickly go through the questions that have come in. Can you give rough chances of switching from EXTC to biomedical for fall 23? Yes, that is possible. So what happens is, you also want to see if you can take some bio related programs, or you have taken any bioelectric related programs or electives. We want to leverage that and use the bioelectric as a means to apply to the bio department, and once you are in, you focus more towards biomedical. Yes, it is possible, but then we need to make sure there is something related to bio on your resume. If you had not taken bio in your 11th 12th, then it might be a problem. When should I give GRE for fall 24? Chinmay, I would say the earlier the better. The score is valid for 5 years. I would say give it in the next 3 months if you can. So once your GRE is done with, we can focus on profile building. Deadline to attempt for fall 23. The earlier the better. Again, we don't know where you stand. Give some mock exams, tell us your timeline and the time in your hand, and we can help you out. GRE is 335, but CGPA is 7. Can I get into a top school? Yes, you can. So, Ayush, what we need to do in your case is we want to target universities that are GRE centric and not CGPA centric. So keep in mind, every university will have their own criterias. Some focus on paper publication, some focus on work experience, some focus on CGPA, some focus on GRE. So if your GRE score is excellent, I would say let's target the GRE centric colleges. Okay, I have my college exams. I have not given my GRE. How do I start with my profile building with the GRE? Again, like I said, this is something that we sit down one-on-one with the student and make a timeline. So I would say, Mayank, set up a meet with call with us and we'll be more than happy to help you out. Does a backlog KT severely affect your profile? Now, if it is 1-2 backlogs, then should not be a problem. But if you have 10-15 backlogs, then yes, it can be a problem. I've got a CGPA of 6.19. Can I target US universities? The answer is still yes. You want to crack the GRE and target the GRE centric colleges. I have not given GRE and I want to apply for 23. Is it okay? Nirvi, you might need to give the GRE because I'm confident 80% universities will need the GRE exam. Are courses by sites like Allison accepted by universities? Yes, you can. I mean, it's how you sell yourself that's more important. As long as you learn something from the course, it's how you put it in the SOP, what you learn, that's more important. How many years of work experience is ideal? It depends on the course. It depends on what you have learned. I have people who go as freshers. I have people who go with 2 years experience. There is no right answer to it. This is something that we need to discuss it on a case by case basis. To give you some statistics, I would say about for people going for masters, about 55-60% people go as freshers, 25% go with 1 to 2 years of experience, and 10% go with 3 or more years of experience. Deadline for spring 23 would be anywhere between July to September, depending on the country you are targeting. Is it advisable for a working professional to do research internships if they are aiming for fall 23? So Utkarsh, I can't comment on it. I don't know what all is there on your resume. Are you done with your exams? So, without understanding that, we cannot recommend you to do something. Guys, I can not tell you to focus on the pickle unless I know that the main course and the dessert are on track. Right? So this is something that needs to be understood on a case by case basis. I cannot generalize right now. I'm looking for fall 23. Is it worth waiting until November to apply? No, Srinivas, not necessarily. You can apply early. How to get publications? Also, you ideally want to talk to your college professors. They are constantly publishing in various journals. And maybe you want to collaborate with them and publish a paper in a journal along with them. Okay, how do you apply for scholarships? That is a separate webinar that we will conduct. But yes, there are many scholarship opportunities out there. And if you have funding constraints, we will apply to colleges which fit within your budget on the basis of scholarships and loans. What are the advantages of fall over spring in your opinion? Srinivas, we did a recently last week, we had a webinar on fall versus spring. The recording is there on YouTube. You can go and see that to understand fall versus spring. Okay. Okay, Simran has a question. If for Canada, if my GPA is good and GRE is average, is it fine? Yes, Simran, it should not be a problem unless the college has a specific GRE requirement and you meet that, you should be fine because the CGPA will have a higher weightage. How can you make a jump from mechanical to business analyst? It is definitely possible. Aaron, just like I said, we need to brainstorm with you, look at your resume and help you sit down with a timeline and work with you on how to build a profile. Okay. Apart from Coursera, are there any other online sites? There are a lot of them. Okay, there is Udemy, Coursera. You can even learn on YouTube. You can even learn through YouTube videos and put it on your resume. That's also fine. A lot of universities have free courses online. You can Google up free MOOCs and you will get a lot of options out there. Okay, 15 plus years of experience. What are the chances for MSMB and what chances of getting admission? So, if you have 15 plus years of experience, I would say that MBA might be a better fit for you than MS because I think for a master's degree, you might be a little bit overqualified. Again, it's not that you cannot, but yes, you crack the GRE, GMAT, and you can apply. It's definitely possible. For in America, age is definitely not a restriction. We have people who study even at the age of 40, 50, 60 should not be a problem. Does UK have a spring intake? A very few universities in UK have a spring intake. Very few colleges. So, I would say that you will have limited options. Is the chance of getting a good university in spring higher than fall? The answer is yes. My papers are not published but are being reviewed. What can I do? Nothing you can do. Just follow up and make sure that they get published soon. That would be great. Fall versus spring. Again, a lot of questions coming on that. We recommend you to go and see our YouTube videos on fall versus spring. Is there a way I can get admission without GRE and IELTS? If you want to go to a good school, then you will need to give these exams, right? You cannot escape it. Guys, keep in mind, you're going to spend lakhs of rupees and you tell me I don't want to give the exam. I would say, please don't waste your parents' money. If you don't have faith or capabilities in yourself to even study for a simple exam, okay, then you don't deserve to go abroad to the top universities. And while I know there are some shady universities which will take you without the exams, those are the colleges we definitely do not recommend you to go to. I want to do MS in sustainable development, but I cannot find jobs related to it. Can you suggest job portals where I can find jobs related to it? So, Vivek, you want to leverage LinkedIn, Monster, Naukri, and all these things. Maybe you want to do internships. Again, we want to understand your background and figure out what kind of internships you can pick up. This is something that needs to be brainstormed on a one-on-one basis. And like I said, if for niche programs, if you are not able to find a job in India, I would say don't waste your time, just go abroad as soon as you can. Okay. My exam is on 28th July, TOEFL is on 13th August. How do you prepare in a short time? This is something that needs to be discussed on a one-on-one basis. I will not be able to answer this one-on-one question because there are too many people in the audience right now. My university is running late due to COVID. My exams are delayed by a year. Will it affect my application? So what you can do is, while some things are not in your hands and your exams are delayed, maybe you want to get your exams, your profile building and all those things done earlier, so that when your college exams are done, you are ready to apply. It should not be a problem because it's not your fault. Okay. I think we have covered all the questions that have come in so far. In case I have missed out on any question, I apologize for that. Maybe one, two more questions. I've done electrical. Can I go for computer science? Nandini, yes, you can. Location and ratings matter a lot in case of selecting the university. Nandini, I would recommend you attend our university selection webinars that will come up. I would say that ratings matter more from a PhD point of view, or location matters a little bit more from a job point of view. Does a gap in resume make a difference while securing admission? So it depends on what you show, what you did in the gap year. So if you graduated and you worked for a year, you built your profile, then it shows in a positive light. If you're just sitting at home doing nothing, then it will go against you. Okay, great. Perfect. I'm done with the talking. I hope you guys got an idea of what needs to be done. In case you have any specific questions, you want to talk to us one-on-one, please feel free to get in touch with us. We'll be more than happy to take the discussions forward with you. Our branches in Bombay are open. You can walk into our branches. You can even, connect with us online, and we'll be more than happy to schedule a one-on-one session with you. We help thousands of students go abroad every year, and we hope we get a chance to work with you in helping you achieve your dreams. I once again thank you for your time on a Saturday evening. Have a wonderful weekend. Bye-bye.